happened, he felt so bad, but I told him not to worry about it, you know. Luckily, it was just the lip that bent, and the face is still pretty, there's nothing marked on the face, and the barrel has no imperfections either, so I just got to order another lip, so I did that. And these are image wheels, you know. It is what it is. You pay the big bucks for a nice wheel, and you expect not that to happen, but I don't think it would have happened if I used a normal tire. The track tire, it didn't like it at all, and it just kind of, a little accident happened, and yeah, we bent the crap out of the lip. Unfortunate, but you know, we'll get these things straightened out. Alright, so after the mishap with the wheel, I was able to get this wheel successfully holding air as of now. And what I'm using here is just a black RTV. Permatex makes this. This was recommended by, I think it was James or Rich over at Mini Spears. They said when they ever had a problem trying to mount wheels and bending lips, they said just to pull it apart and just RTV the crap out of it on both sides and just slap it back together. It appears to be working, you know. I haven't seen this method before. Normally we just mount it normally, but it's kind of hard to get the perfect seal because you can't see what it's doing after you bolt it together. So it's kind of a luck of the draw, but I guess the more you put on, the better odds. Now, I don't think most people do this. They will apply this and immediately attach whatever they're using with this stuff. It says to let it sit for an hour before you bolt it together. The one I did on the ground over there, I only gave it like 20-25 minutes, maybe a half hour before I bolted it together. You don't want this to dry fully on here because then when you bolt them together, you're gonna have a gap in between. You do want the metal on metal to hit so you don't have a warp in your lip. At least that's how it works in my mind. So I'm only gonna let this chill for maybe a good 20 minutes, 25 minutes. That way it still will ooze out of the side, and hopefully I will get the lips to be perfectly flat, but I think they'll be fine for what we're doing here. I don't want to risk trying to mount a tire on a tire machine and have it bend the lip again. I just think it's going to happen again. These tires, they're a track tire, and it's a wicked hard compound, and there's not much give. You can't even flex these things. They're so tight, and these lips, they're really thin. There's not much to them, and they're only aluminum, so I mean, it's gonna happen. So it's a lesson learned, you know. I had a feeling this was gonna happen with that one, and you know, I trust my friend. He does it rims all the time, not 13-inch rims, but more or less the drifting wheels, you know, 15, 16s, 18s. He does those all the time, and those rims have a thicker lip. These are thin, so when that happened, he felt so bad, but I told him not to worry about it, you know. But yeah, so far so good. I got one tire mounted, and it's looking pretty good. Can't go wrong. So this is a Nanking tire. It's a 175/50/13. It's the AR1 tire, and these wheels, they're 13 by 7.5. And these tires, yeah, there's like a little bit of stretch, nothing crazy. I probably actually could have went down maybe a half-inch short, maybe a 7-inch wide wheel. But outside to outside is 8-inch on the rim, and there's our 7.5. But yeah, these are going to be awesome. And the main other reason why I got these wheels too, the Miata rear end is a 4x100 lug pattern, and it's M12 bolt, and the front being mini 4x1 and 1.6. Image wheel lets you pick and choose what bolt pattern you need, which is amazing. And the hub on the rim also fits, it matches tight on the hub on the lip of the hub here too. So they're basically hub centric, and they already knew what to put on for me. I didn't even have to ask them that. I just told them it was for a Miata and needed to be 4x100, and they actually got to fit hub centric, so they do line up pretty good. So I am happy with that. But yeah, another 10-15 minutes, I'm gonna get this bolted on. You probably see me line up the dots here. I'm kind of picky about that. I want my dots to line up with my my valve stem. Speaking of valve stem, I should probably put that on because I forgot about it. Shit. All right, now the trick here is, or at least how I figured out, once you get these holes somewhat lined up, you're just gonna put your bolt through. It sucks the first one's kind of tricky. Once you get one going, you kind of go off it. But once you get it through, I'm only catching a tiny threads on the back, maybe like half the width of the bolt. That's how much threads I'm catching. Because once I get all these through, you don't want to squeeze that gap yet. You still want to let it just air dry a little bit. So normally I would let it just sit for 20 minutes. And then once I get these all in, I'll let it sit for another 10 minutes. And then I'll go ahead and I'll fully squeeze it, compress it together. That way you let that RTV just gum up just a little bit more than it needs to, in hopes we can get a perfect seal. Yeah, they say 1 hour. I guess, I don't know. It's personal preference, and I don't know. Just gotta trial and error. If it leaks, you gotta pull it apart again and do it again. Luckily, the front lip only has a little bit of bead for it. I think if I had to take it off, I could just take off the front lip again and redo this again and try again. So that's it. So in the back, you can see it's still wide open here. So it's still letting air get in here to help dry it. And then also for another full dry, I take the stem out of the valve too, to let air. I'll let it sit overnight completely for 24 hours before I come back the next day to fill it with air. That way it gets nice and dry, and hopefully we have no leaks. So now I'm at a point halfway where these bolts aren't really fitting anymore. So I'll kind of stop right here. Instead of threading it in and forcing it, I'll just jump to the other side. I know that side will work. And then over when you start going this way, it'll kind of level itself back out. All right, just a couple more to go. I'll get these in and then I'll check back in after. All right, I got all my bolts in here. I'm just letting it cool off right now. Letting it cure just a little bit more. I'm gonna get this valve stem out of here. There she is. Gotta have the dot match the stem, you know what I mean? All right, so these are all torqued down, and I guess tomorrow we'll just wait before I fill this up with air. Let it just chill out overnight. Okay, so it's the next day, and appears this tire has held its air. So that's good. That's one done, and I'm about to put air in this one. That's from last night. And then I get cracking on the third one, which is right there. And then I'll just have to wait. I think it's 3 weeks out for a new lip. So I'll just do the 3 for now, and I can get going on some other stuff while I wait. Alrighty, that's it. 35 PSI is in there, and it took the bead. It's perfect. Hopefully it holds air.